For 13 years I've actually suffered from domestic abuse, that's including actually being battered as well. We bought our own property and we were both doing it up, and we were working till from when we finished work, doing full-time jobs, going back, say 6 o'clock at night and working. That's when it all started, when he started to batter me. At one point I was in the kitchen at his parents' house because we'd moved in there, and his mum was there and my son was 18 months old, and he absolutely battered me to a pulp where I was kneeling on the ground with my head covered, so scared out of my life. I ran out of the house, ran to the phone box to call my sister. There was a police car there and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether to speak to the police, I didn't know whether to make the phone call, I didn't know what to do. And he came running after me. Like a fool, I turned around and went back. Many times I've wanted to leave, but more so in the last 5 years when it wasn't so much physical, because I did get my own back in the end. I stood strong. He tried hitting me and I gave it him back. I give him back as good as he got me, which didn't make me a very good person. But I was defending myself. I was trying to look after myself. The shouting at me all the time, and I wasn't allowed to do the shopping. I wasn't allowed to cook. He ran me down when my family came. He was calling me names all the time, and he thought it was really funny, and my family thought it was funny. Slowly, over a period of time, my family stopped coming, to the point where I had no one. The only people I had was his parents, and as much as I went and told them of the things that were happening, they didn't listen, because obviously they took his side. And believe it or not, the times I've wanted to flee, the only reason I've stayed is because his dad, my abuser's dad, or my perpetrator's dad, or whatever you want to call him, his dad was disabled and I felt obliged to stay. His son never did anything to help. I used to take him out, have days off and everything. And that was really the only reason that I kept on staying. I gave him an ultimatum, and I said, you either stop the abuse or I'm leaving. It didn't stop. In fact, it got worse and worse. I kept telling my sister for about 5 years, I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave. I didn't know where I was going to go. None of my family could put me up. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't go there because I didn't want to take trouble to the door. So I just kept on living it and thinking it was going to get better. When he was nice, it was lovely. I'd be smiling, I'd be dead happy, and I'd think, yeah, he's doing it, he's changing. Not even a week later, he was back to how he was before, and the abuse was back again. It was horrible, horrible. I don't really know how I carried on. My confidence went from being a manager, office manager, that was so bubbly, and all of the network that I was working in, everybody knew me. And I got on with so many people. I went to board meetings. I went and sat in when they ever had the network, whenever the network got together. I was invited to the meetings. I was a spokesperson. I was asked to help other new depots that came in. And I did an awful lot to help. But all that confidence, when I'd got no confidence, I just felt so down and thought nobody liked me. And in November, I just decided I wasn't going to work no more. And that was the first part of my journey. And that was when I made the phone call and said, I need to get out. I need to get out. I need some help. Can you help me? They took all my details and they said they would get back to me. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going. I'm not staying here, I'm going. So he went to work on the Saturday morning. I'd got cases, I'd been leaving things all over the place and making everywhere look a mess, but in truth what I'd been doing was putting all my son's games in a box and his Xbox in boxes and Wii and games in bags and everything, and hiding them all over the place. And because I'd left it such a mess, he couldn't tell what I was doing, and all of this was done on purpose. And what I was doing, I was filling cases up with stuff, taking them down and putting them in the car and replacing them with another case and filling that one. I'd got cases hidden under my son's bed. I'd got bags hidden. I'd got, oh God, I don't know. I can't even tell you. I don't know how I did it. I just don't know how I did it. I even packed, because I didn't know where I was going or what it was going to be like, I packed 2 teaspoons, 2 forks, 2 knives and 2 dessert spoons. And I also got some tea towels, because I thought, well, at least we've got something to eat with. I can always use plastic plates, but at least we've got our own cutlery. I've got no idea what the place was going to be like. I didn't even know where I was going, because at that point I hadn't got anywhere to go. But I was determined, whatever happened, I was going. I had to tell my son on Saturday what we were doing, because he was asking for his games. He kept saying, where's my games, where's my games? So I had to tell him that we were leaving on Monday morning. I said, but please don't tell your dad. All that weekend I was walking on eggshells. I was so scared. I didn't know if he was going to tell his dad. I took the dog out. I mean, it's Jack Russell. I must have worn his legs down. I took him on that many walks. I was ringing people, you know, just to tell them I was going. And the number of people that told me, we knew we've never liked him. We don't know how it's ever lasted so long. They had this, but because they were my friend, they didn't want to tell me. Thinking back now, it's because they didn't want me to fall out with them. They didn't want you know, me to think that they were being horrible. When you get to Nance, get dressed, and I'm going to pretend I'm taking you to school. So that's what we did. We got to the roundabout just before school. And he slid down the seat so nobody could see him in the car, and we drove through. He got back on the chair and we carried on going till we got to the village. When we got to the outskirts of the village, I said, get on the floor, get on the floor. I said, I've just got to make sure it's clear that your dad's not around, because I still had a feeling he was going to be there. I still had this gut instinct he was going to catch me, and I knew I'd be in for it. I really knew. I couldn't have imagined what would have happened to me. I've never packed a case of Quick in my life. It took me about 10 minutes, just threw everything in. It was like, I just couldn't believe it. Even folded and everything went in with the hangers. And I just got everything ready. And he was going, what we're going to do? I said, right, we're going to take everything downstairs. We'll put it all in the middle of the living room, and then we'll pack the car. But you cannot go outside. Nobody can see you. I'd bought things that would make his life happier when we actually set up again. When we moved to our new place, and he'd have his own stuff in his room to give him something to focus on other than what we'd escaped from. And it was about 9:15 and my phone rang, and I answered it. The place has come free. You can come over. I didn't know what the place was like. I'd got no idea. All hostels I'd always thought was one room. You have a bedroom, it's shared facility, shared kitchen. You've got maybe a shelf in a fridge that was yours. The bathroom was shared, so I'd got no idea. I was so scared. I was shaking from head to foot. My son was scared, both of us, and I was shouting at him. I can remember shouting at him because I was so. I was just scared. Oh God, I can't even express the feeling.